Okay. So looks like we're recording. Let me just make sure my audio's working. Okay. So looks like Yep. Okay. So everything's all set. I've got my stream kinda showing for me. Maybe I can, yeah, that's perfect. You just zoom out a bit. Got it on another screen there. Okay, so this is my first time trying a stream of coding. I just thought maybe it might be a fun thing to do. I don't have my microphone, you know, like right in front of me like I do when I'm gaming, because it'll block where the chat is and everything. So it's up there. It still works fine. This is how I usually have it when I'm you know, talking to people online or whatever, but I feel like it sounds a little better when I bring it up closer. But it is what it is. So anyway, kind of in a programming mood. Of course, it's been a while since I've started a new plugin, so it'll sort of be a crash course for me to figure out exactly what to do, because it's been so long since I've, you know, done anything new. I've been working on this plugin, my Skip Night plugin. It's not that big. You can see it's only 4 classes, and just makes use of a bunch of different things to create a vote to skip the night. Actually, there's still some stuff left over that I could work on, but that's for another day. So let's create a new program or new project. I don't quite remember how to do this. New project. So we have Maven. I know my JDK is a little bit out of date. Whatever. So let's click next here. So group ID is going to be net.matlabs. I don't know what I want to name this. I guess how about crew chat? Crew chats, like that. And the artifact ID would be something. What is your artifact ID? Crew chat? Huh. It's been a while. And then we want 1.0.0. And that's good. So click finish here. And no, we'll open it in a new window because I'm going to want to reference what was just open there. So this is what we get to start off with. I usually don't need that so large. And then we just have to structure this in the same way. So we're looking at our POM file, I believe, right here. This file right here. And we're basically just going to take this, not that, where is it? The pom.xml from this one, and paste it in, which is a little cheaty, but this is like cookie cutter, what I use for almost everything that I do. So then we just need to modify some things at first. So obviously this one is not Skip Night, so we're going to rename this to Crew Chats. And then Crew Chat, like that. And this is version 1.0.0. I don't know what to call this. Chat plugin for CCS. Sure. That's fine. I think we're probably going to use fanciful for all of the messages. It's just basically a library of sort of an API to interface with the JSON messaging, like tell raw, that kind of stuff. But we don't need player activities, so I'm going to remove that one from the repositories and the dependencies here. We'll keep everything else though. Also looks like we're using 1.12.1, although we should be using 1.12.2. Another thing I like to have open is the Maven projects panel over here, and this life cycle. If we hit refresh, it should show us our dependencies here, and as we can see, here's our spigot dependency and the fanciful dependency, which is perfect. And then I think that's all we really need to worry about in here. So we'll leave the rest for now, but we also need to do some other stuff, such as a plugin.yml file, which every plugin needs. So we're going to create a new file in here called plugin.yml and paste that in. Now what these are is this is a it's like a variable basically that's going to put the project artifact ID and version in for name and version and description. That way we can change it here and use it in every one of these. The one that we need to pay attention to here is the main, which is net.matlabs.crew chat, like that. And then this stuff we have to change once we come up with commands and things. So that we can leave for now. Beyond that, there are a few other things to add, such as the license here, which is just the basic MIT license, and the gitignore file, which is the file that tells GitHub what not to upload. So we're just going to take these two files because they are completely oh, and the readme. We'll also take the readme. Readme is a little more particular, but we'll get to that in a second. So that just goes in the base folder here. And then in the readme, we should change this. I think for now, I'm literally just going, or actually, why don't we just leave it for now, and we'll come back to it once we figure it out. At this point, we're now ready to create our package, which goes in this Java folder here. So we're going to go new package, and I'm just going to call it net.matlabs.crewchat, like that. And then within there, we can put in a Java class, and that is going to be crewchat. So this is the main class. You'll notice it puts our package up here for us, and then it's just basically an empty class. There's nothing in here. And from there, we kind of need to do a little more setup. So the first thing that we need to do is extend Java plugin. Oop, what'd I hit? Space. Extends Java plugin. There we go. And that will automatically add the Java plugin dependency from the Bukkit dependency, Bukkit external library? Well, I don't know. No. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not the best with terminology sometimes. So at this point, there are a few things that we need in our plugin, and that would be the on enable and the on command if we're going to have commands. So the first thing we're going to do is set up our on enable, and that's pretty simple. You can literally just type it, public, is it void? Yeah, void on enable. And as you can see, it's already being used. Can't remember if you need an override on that to override the Java plugin method. I mean, this one doesn't have it. Clearly works, so I guess we'll just leave it without it for now. But sure, we'll leave it like that. The next thing we need to worry about is kind of just figuring out what to do. So, a chat plugin would be something kind of like Hero Chat, which is what I currently use, but I'm not a big fan of it. So, well, I'm not like against it. I just want something more fine-tuned to what my server's needs are, and I don't really want to try to adapt Hero Chat to work in a way that I want. So basically what Hero Chat does, and one of the reasons why I chose it was because it has chat channels. So sort of like Xbox Live parties, I guess, or when you have two separate teams and each one gets their own voice chat, you can have different chat channels where once you enter a channel, you only see chats from that one channel unless, you know, there's other stipulations to that, like certain messages might be able to go to all channels or whatever. But the way I'm using it is because I have the gray list feature set up, so there's a separate channel for the gray members than the regular members, and I kind of want to mimic that, but maybe in a little bit of a different way, because we don't exactly need channels. Maybe I guess I'll stick with the channels because it's kind of a common concept and it makes a lot of sense, so we'll stick with that. But we do need to work on just kind of figuring out how we go about chat events. So the first thing that I want to do is look at chat events. So Bukkit API chat events, player chat event. So there's actually two. There's player chat event and async player chat event. So asynchronous tasks I'm not completely fluent in. But the player chat event is depreciated. This event will fire from the main thread and allows... Why is it depreciated? How is there like a better one now? This event will fire from the main thread and allows the use of all the Bukkit API, unlike the async player chat event. Listening to this event forces chat to wait for the main thread, which causes delays for chat for thread safe implementations. Is async chat event? That's not depreciated, but I don't really know why this is depreciated. Is there something better? Let's look at player events. So obviously we have async player chat event. Let's see if I just search for chat. So there's that one. There's the player chat event, player chat tab complete, and that's it. So this says, for async player chat event, this event will sometimes fire synchronously depending on how it was triggered. The constructor provides a boolean to indicate if the event was fired synchronously or asynchronously. When asynchronous, this event can be called from any thread, sans the main thread, and has limited access to the API. If a player is the direct cause of this event by an incoming packet, this event will be asynchronous. If a plugin triggers this event by compelling a player to chat, this event will be synchronous. Interesting. One thing that I want to do is just, before I continue, I want to close out of Discord and start it up again because it was being a little goofy. So hopefully that loads up fine. Starting ever slowly. There we go. Okay, there we go. Just want to ask my group if anybody knows about this. I don't know, I don't understand why that's depreciated. But we'll see if anybody comments, but for now, let's try to create a listener class. So, I'm gonna do a new class and we'll call it chat listener. And from there, we're going to do implements listener. Listener. There we go. Like that. And then it's weird that it's not putting in, like, aren't there certain methods that a listener needs? Or am I just like completely, I don't know, man. So we're gonna take a look at this because I have a listener in here for on log off. So we're basically going to mimic that. So at event handler, and then right below that we do public void on chat or on player chat. We don't want that space. I don't know. Sometimes I put the space, sometimes I don't. But I guess I'll start kind of being consistent with that. I put the space with the if statements, but not the methods. Player quit event. So we're doing, I guess we'll try the async player chat event like that. And within there, is this cancelable? It is cancelable. So I think that's what we want to try first, or something. So it says that we should do event.isAsynchronous and treat the event appropriately. So I guess we'll start with that. If the event dot is asynchronous. So if it's not asynchronous, we're gonna send the player a message and cancel it. So event dot set canceled. Do I have to put it true in there, or is that true? Okay. And then event dot get player dot send message chat canceled, like that. Okay, so we've got something, and then the only other thing that we need to do is register our listener in the on enable. So to do that, we use something along this line. So register events, new chat listener. This does not need anything within it. And yeah. And then the other thing that I want to do is the logger. And we'll just change this to crew chat loaded, just so that I can see in the console that it's loaded. So now we need to use the test server, and that's pretty easy to do. The first thing that I want to do before I set up a run configuration is take a look in my documents here under development and test server. So we have this plugins folder, and I'm literally just going to take it and go rename it to plugins, I don't know, dash usual. And then new folder called plugins, like that, and that should do it for that. That way we have no plugins in the test server. And then we're going to edit our configurations. Hit the plus button, and I can't remember if it's jar application or application. So let's take a look at our run configuration here. It's jar application, and then I should be able to set everything else up. So edit configurations plus jar application, path to jar. That would be what? Oh, I need to see both of these at once. Okay, so that's the jar file that we're gonna run, and that's where it goes. And then build the artifact. I think that's all we need. Okay, let's try this again. Edit configurations, jar application. Our path to our jar file is going to be in C, where it's going to load forever. Ooh, jeez. Development, test server, and paperclip, which I should update as well. But that's fine. We can leave it as its crappy thing. And then XMX, 4G, give it 4 gigs of RAM. Our working directory is documents, development, test server, like that. Why did that not work? That didn't change it. What? Test server, like that. And then use that, right? Yeah. And then before launching build artifacts, nothing to show. Ah, right. Apply K. I didn't name it. Name it crew chat. But there is something else we need to do, of which I have partially forgotten where it is. Project settings. Project structure? No. Artifacts. Yeah, in here. Java application? Bear with me here. We'll figure this out. I have no idea if this is... Oh, it's a jar. Okay. We can do that. So, we're going to do file, project structure, artifacts, jar, empty. We'll call it crew chat. And... Okay. Let's just click OK to that first. Go back to this one. So we need to extract this and the compile output, but that's it. Okay. So project structure. We bring that over and extract. Yeah, there we go. So that should do it for that. And just one last check here to make sure I didn't miss anything, and I did. I did not build artifacts, crew craft, or crew chat. And run. So what should happen is we get this output here, and you can see that our test server is starting up, which is awesome. That's what we want. And we should have seen something about our crew chat plugin. Did it end up in here, or did it go into the plugins folder? It didn't go into the plugins folder. Interesting. So we've done something wrong. Where'd skip night go? There we go. Edit. It's our working directory. Interesting. What am I doing wrong here? Single instance only can be on. What did that do? Not too much. Okay. Oh, I know what's wrong. In our build artifacts here, we need to change the output directory of the artifact to the development test server plugins folder. And what that's going to do is build the artifact into the plugins folder. So when we start this, it builds it, and then we should see it in here. Enabling crew chat 1.0.0, crew chat loaded. Okay, awesome. So it's in there. The next step is going to be loading up Minecraft. Now I'm gonna put it into like a little window so I can see. And we're looking at our localhost server here. And here we are in the game. So we're basically just gonna try talking. And as you can see, something has gone wrong. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So what we can do to debug this is actually pretty simple. We can put a, whatever this is, a flag, an interrupt there. And instead of hitting the play button, we're going to hit the debug button. And what's going to happen is it's going to start the same thing again. Except that this time, it's going to pause anytime we get a hit on that if statement. And we can see whether or not that if statement is true. So as we can see, it's gone through. Oop, I shouldn't have done that. I should test and then step over that. No, I didn't mean to do that. Step over. So was it? We don't know. That's great. Hang on. Test again. So let's step over that. Did it cancel it? Okay. Text. Return this dot async. Doesn't really tell me much. So much for debugging. My next idea is to do this and see what it does. Because if it is asynchronous, whatever that means, I think it has something to do with having multiple threads, but I don't quite understand how that plays into effect here. Chat canceled. It's working. Meh. Whoops. Awesome. Okay, so that is the first step to what we need. What we need after that is to kind of start, like, determining, like, permission groups and all this other stuff. You can format the chat. So that's the chat listener. might rename that to like chat core or something, maybe. Get the format to use to display this chat message. Cancellation state. Set the format. Trying to think of how this should work. So we need to figure out permission groups and permissions and how to store all of that. We need some sort of file storage. So how do we do that? We almost need a player join event listener. Thinking. So we have to kind of keep track of a bunch of things. For example, we have to figure out the players, like, so if we have channels, we have to figure out what channel the player is in, right? We need a default channel. We need a lot of stuff. Maybe I should start, like, a list of things here. So, ooh, we're getting texts. So we need, how should we handle figuring things out with this? Maybe we should run through scenarios, or maybe we should, so we need a way to tell players, should we have one file or multiple? How do we make files? It's been a very long time since I've made like a configuration file. Like writing to a file. I haven't done that in a very long time because most of my plugins don't need that. Open Recent. Do I have any that use that? Now that I see. How do we make that? No, there was one. Which plugin did I just recently? Was it this one? Yeah, here we go. Well, no. That's reading files. I think. Yeah, let's just try to figure out if they're directories, but that's not it. I don't even know what half these things are. Very old plugins that I'm not using anymore. Geez, this one's pretty big. Don't think we need to worry about that one. I know at one point I had a plugin that was making a configuration file and a data file. Now, if only I could remember which plugin it was. I don't know. maybe I'm imagining things. But I'm trying to think of the way that the best way to do that. No, I don't want to watch a video about it. Or do I? I'm gonna mute it. Generating config files. Okay. That's it. We're gonna experiment with me watching a video for 30 seconds and seeing if I can make a config work. So it'd be in the resources folder. We can create a file called config.yml, and then default config. Okay, sure. And then test 1. Sure. So there's our config file, and then it literally looks like all he's typed in is get config dot options dot copy defaults. And then he does save config like that, and that's it. Let's see if that does that. Yeah, I swear, if that actually works, that is ridiculously easy. Much easier than any of the methods I remember. Why is this, like, frozen here? What did I do? Oh, like froze for a second. There we go. So let's see if that works. Oh, I don't need to be on the server for that. I can just look in the folder here. Plugins. Wow, are you kidding me? That was really freaking easy. Oh, no. Default config, and nothing is in there. Interesting that it didn't copy over the defaults. Oh, because it didn't put a true in there. Copy defaults, true. Now, what if I want another config file? That is where I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Okay. I see. Well, this allows me to create a configuration file. But how do I do a custom one? Is there something for that? Get custom config? No. I mean, that tutorial would work relatively easy, but custom config files, which is probably the easiest way to create a custom .yml file. First, create two variables in the main class that extends Java plugin. After you have done that, add this to the onEnable. Create a new void called save new config. Okay. Interesting. So this is okay, let's see if we can do this. File, and that's correct, file new config. Let's just call it player data, sure. Player data config, sure. And then within our onEnable, player data equals new yeah, but this isn't. Okay, we'll follow this for now, and then maybe it's not going to work well, but we'll see. New file, data folder, comma, player data dot yml. Whoops, whoa. Player data dot yml. And then nuke, oh, whoops, that's not. Player data config equals YAML configuration dot load configuration player data, like that. You're almost done. Create a new void called save new config, for example. Public void save player data. And within there, put player data config dot save player data. And we get red. IO convection. IO exception. IO convection. That's what I said. Okay. Of course, he doesn't say to do the try catch there, but we need that. So you see that we're saving it. It doesn't account for if the configuration file doesn't exist, I don't think. Save player data. Okay. So now in the resources folder, but this let's see what happens. Player data.yml, and in here we'll just put test1. Sure. So that's fine, I guess. Let's see what happens when I run this. Either I'm going to get some sort of error because that file obviously doesn't exist there, or I guess player data did create. Yeah, go. Oh my god. But it's empty. Get config. Can I? Player data config dot config save load from string. No. Options dot copy defaults. Does that work? Really don't know what I'm doing, but... No, still empty. Interesting. Sorry, just answering random things. Sometimes taking a short break kind of gets your mind flowing again, sometimes not. I mean, there's another option here, which is this guy created sort of a set of classes to do this. A config handler class and a config class or a custom config class. So why don't we try that, because this method is just a little janky. So we don't need this anymore. We'll get rid of all of this. And then these as well for now. We can optimize our imports. So I'm gonna do a new package here called util, and that'll be all of our utilities, like the custom config, and within here config. He just called it config. String name public file configuration, file config, just kind of copying this right now, but public config string name dot name equals name. Oh, whoops. Custom config. Weird that this one just kind of has nothing in there. Before I continue on this, okay. And then also in this util folder, we need a configuration handler class. Like that. And then within there, we need main class plugin. What is this? Ah. Crew chat, like that. Public. We should do a little padding here like that. Custom config. Crew chat instance. Can I do that? That's a thing? I did not know that was a thing. But cool, I guess it is. Why is this here? It's not a nested class. It's like a nested odd constructor. What is this? This is so strange. What am I'm just trying to figure out what this class is doing here. Because just goes plugin instance. Doesn't. Let's see what this is. Getting some help here. Just trying to figure out. Way to view the streams, like where's the, how do I see like my I want my link. Ooh. There we go. This is a lot of data. A lot of stuff. So I kind of need something like this, where it's like a class to handle writing data to files, but this is specific to the to this plugin, so it's exporting things in a I am trying to figure out where it says. So, what is it storing things as? I guess it's doing JSON files. So, I'm trying to figure out like how this works. Okay, so that's don't know that that's exactly this. Well, obviously it's doing stuff to save files, but it's saving files that are not YML files. This is neat, but I don't know exactly. Kind of confused. Because it seems like it's relatively simple, as we can see here, to save to have a configuration file, a config.yml in the resources folder, and copy the defaults to it, or to I guess this is just copying it to memory, and then this saves the file, and that saves that. Where these are coming from, I guess these are methods of Java plugin. So let's go to the declaration of that. Yeah. So this is the Java plugin class, which should have a method in it for, yeah, get config. Says this.new config. Where is that coming from? Is that a method further along the line? So when you do get config, it returns this dot new config. New config is just a variable of which I do not see. There it is. But reload config, where's that? That's right here. So this dot new config equals YAML configuration dot load configuration this dot config file. Yeah, but where is this dot config file? That's this. But is the config file defined somewhere to be? Like, where is it gonna? Load configuration. Where is declaration of load configuration? File. Config.load. Jeez. We're really running down the rabbit hole trying to find this. Go to declaration. So this is just in file configuration. That's not. Hang on. Okay. Maybe trying to study this isn't exactly the right way to do it. I don't want like a utility thing that's gonna do this, but maybe we should make like a custom configuration manager. I'm gonna delete these two classes because I don't think that they're what I want. Delete. Yes, and delete. Yes. And then we'll make a new one and call it custom config. Let me just do config manager. Actually, before we continue, I don't even have it open, but player activity, if I recall, has something for that. Maybe not. Thought maybe there was something in there. How does this one do its configuration? Configuration courier. Where is that? So that's not in there. Messaging. Jeez. Too advanced. Back to this. File, custom config file. What is this doing? Using multiple configuration files. I think what I'm gonna do is do a little more research on this off camera and possibly come back with a working example of how this works and go over that before we continue with the plugin. So for now, we're going to call the stream done. So thank you guys for watching, and hopefully maybe you learned something or you just watched because why not. So yeah. Adios.